Ladies and gentlemen, the theatre of the absurd is playing out in Maharashtra. If wasn't so downright stupid, it actually would have been funny. First, the Mumbai police all but declared Kunal Kamra an enemy of the state for his comic piece where he called the Deputy Chief Minister of the state, Eknath Shinde, a gaddar or a traitor. So the police show up looking for him at an apartment where he had lived 10 years ago. It took the comedian to actually point it out on Twitter that the police was barking up the wrong tree. Now, in a mind-boggling move, the Mumbai police have issued summons to some audience members as well. The Times of India has reported that a banker who attended Kamra's controversial show was repeatedly called and hounded by the police and asked to present himself as a witness. Can you imagine that? This banker was away on a vacation, ladies and gentlemen, but the police insisted he show up. According to the Times of India, and they have quoted the banker, he says he was on a 17-day vacation to Kerala and Karnataka, but he was called by the police on March 28th. A day later, he received a notice via WhatsApp as well, instructing him to appear for questioning on March 30th. Now, despite informing authorities that he was out of town, the police reportedly refused to believe him and then threatened to visit his Karghar residence where his parents live. Left with little choice, the banker returned. But here's where things get even more bizarre. The cops who allegedly spoke to this banker accused him of editing Kunal Kamra's videos. Kunal Kamra is asking, and the banker is asking as well, why would Kunal Kamra, who's a professional comedian, hand over his shows and his show footage to a random banker who was in the audience for editing? Now, under mounting criticism, the Mumbai police backtracked, saying that the banker's presence was not immediately required and that he would be called only when necessary. But ladies and gentlemen, the damage has already been done. The banker's vacation has been cut short, all for attending a comedy show. Meanwhile, Kunal Kamra has responded with generosity, saying he is deeply sorry for the inconvenience caused to his fan and he is offering to fund his next vacation. But jokes apart, there are some serious questions that arise and need to be asked. Why are audience members being hounded for simply watching a stand-up performance? This is not the first time it's happening. Audience members have been called as witnesses even in the Samay Raina show. Why? Is electronic evidence not enough? There's an entire recording of the show which Samay Raina and Kunal Kamra themselves have posted online. What will the audience members actually tell you? The evidence is all there. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 police cases have already been filed against Kunal Kamra. Despite the Madras High Court granting him interim protection from an arrest, a 3rd summon has now been issued as well. At what point does an investigation stop being about justice and start looking like intimidation? According to our netas and our political system, mocking is already a crime in India. You can't mock a politician now. Now, is watching comedy a crime as well? That question to my guest this evening, Ali Daruwala, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us from Mumbai, Anish Gawande, national spokesperson of the NCP, the Sharad Pawar faction, Tehseen Poonawalla is a political analyst, PK Jain is a retired IPS officer from Mumbai. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Mr. Daruwala, chal kya raha hai aapki sarkar mein? Good evening.
Shreya, good evening to you, to panelists, to Tehseen, Anish over here, and to our senior police inspector, sir, also. Over here, let me make it very clear. I have taken the information before coming on this show. The police have said, sir, we have not summoned anybody. We have not called anybody. They have totally retracted from what they have been accused. Nevertheless, going ahead in this debate over here, I can assure you, the Mumbai police will not make a foolish move like calling a spectator, trying to question him, asking him of editing. Give them, Shreya, give them the benefit of doubt. When they said they have not done it and they stick by it, let us give them the benefit of doubt. Let this gentleman come up with more evidence. Like you're saying, he's got WhatsApp messages and all that. If it is there, if it is proven, I, on this show, with lot of authority, I can assure you, give me 1 second, Shreya, give me 1 second. If it is there, mind you, this is not done. It is a no. and they will have to answer. That is what I'm telling you. If they have said no, and if they can prove their innocence, let us give us them that time. Shreya.
Mr. Daruwala, Mr. Daruwala, here's the simple question. Forget Kunal Kamra and forget the fact that he is tweeting about it. Okay, chalo, he is one of the aggrieved parties. He has reason to say things against the Mumbai police and portray them in bad light. Does the Times of India have any agenda against the Mumbai police? Does this poor banker who lives in Navi Mumbai have any agenda against the Maharashtra government and the police? No. Right? I have, just like you have spoken to the Mumbai police, our reporters in Mumbai have spoken to the Mumbai police as well. 15 minutes ago, I made a call to our reporter and said, what is the police saying? So he says, ma'am, the police is saying that no, it's not like we have summoned these people in the audience, a few of them, there were 70 of them in the audience. It's not like we have summoned all of them, number one. And it's not like we have summoned them as an accused. We have summoned them as eyewitnesses. So the Mumbai police, at no point, sir, Mr. Daruwala, is denying the fact that audience members have been summoned. Please remember, they've done it before. They have done it in the Samay Raina show as well, where they summoned some people as eyewitnesses, including women, to find out if those women who paid for tickets for Samay Raina's show were uncomfortable when he was making those stupid jokes. तो ये इनका ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है ऐसे काम करने का, मिस्टर दारूवाला. So don't defend them too soon.
Correct. Over here, you're saying I was answering to that thing that the video was edited and he has circulated. Was he a prima facie instrument or a toolkit? It's too harsh a word to use as a toolkit, but over here, the people can get the message. Was it that? No, it was not that. Witnesses, you do summon witnesses, but anyway, now they have backtracked. Let us give them benefit of doubt. Let us see what happened about vandalism. We all need to go into depth. Coming back to Kunal Kamran, he has an interim bail from the Madras bench over here. But we will go ahead, we will get investigation. And as to calling somebody, why couldn't you wait? You had to call him back from a holiday. Is not done. It is totally ironical. It shouldn't be done. I am telling you, I am with you, and I am not refuting, and I am not arguing with you. It should not have been done. If it was a witness, they could have waited for him to come back. The world was not coming to an end. This is not done with the citizens of the country.
Anish Gawande come in here.
That is what I'm telling you, Shreya, over here.
Okay, then, okay. Let me get in the police officer here. Mr. P.K. Jain, I'm not a police officer. You are someone who has served in the Indian police services for more than 35 years. Please help me understand this. There is a show, a comedy show, where some things are said that offend a particular political leader, in this case, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Chaliye wo baat chhodiye. That entire show, sir, is recorded. That entire show is not just recorded, it is also put on YouTube. Then that entire show, or at least a part of it, which is considered funny, clips are made and circulated on YouTube and Twitter. So, sara electronic evidence is there. Why on earth will the police want to summon audience members? I understand if you want to summon the editor of the show. I understand if you want to summon the camera person of the show. I even understand if you want to summon people who own the venue, the comedy club. Samajh aata hai. Audience? Why? For what joy?
Shreya, good evening. Thank you very much again to be with you on the show. See, the legal procedure is that electronic evidence by itself is no evidence. Electronic evidence has to be corroborated, it has to be produced by somebody, and it has to be admitted by somebody. The way it was transferred, from which device to which device it was transferred, all that has to be proved, and it has to be proved by an expert. So what the police does in such cases is that in addition to the electronic evidence, they also have physical human evidence. In this case, now if you call they would have called the person who recorded the show, the person who made who put it on the YouTube. All that would also be done. In addition to that, as some independent witnesses, some of the people who were in the audience are also summoned. Now, see, as far as summoning is concerned, the police and investigating officer or the inquiry officer, they are within their rights to call any person as a witness. Whether that witness testifies, deposes in favor of the show, in favor of Kunal Kamra, or the police is a different matter altogether. But they can be summoned and they can be forced to come. There is a provision in the law in which the witnesses can be made to come. But in this case, What happened was probably going a step, much more than it was required. What happened was the main culprit has not been arrested. The main culprit has not been taken into custody. He has been seeking extension after extension. The third summons, as you just now mentioned, has been issued to him despite the bail granted to him, which is also in order. Which is there's nothing wrong with that, because bail is granted that he will not be arrested, but he has yet to produce himself before the police. In addition to that, they have gone to the extent
But
of
why
calling
should he
this
be
person back
arrested?
from his holiday. That is just not done. They cannot pressurize him to come. He will come. He can seek
No,
time.
no.
He can say that I will come after 15 days. If anybody has forced him to come back, it is grossly wrong. It is not as per procedure, and this is not legal.
Well, clearly it has happened because, as I said, the Times of India has no need to run a propaganda, and this banker has no reason to lie. We did try and reach out to the banker, but I understand if he doesn't want to speak to the press. He is intimidated. God knows if you get a call from the police, Tehseen Poonawalla, God knows you will be intimidated and say, oh Lord, what wrong have I done? Because there are a lot of people, I'm fairly certain, who go watch Kunal Kamra's show or who go watch Varun Grover's show, and these people are not exactly pro-government, and comedians aren't supposed to be pro-government or anti-government in any case, are thinking to themselves, agli baar nahi jate, it's better. Next, koi jhamela phir se koi kare, and we are summoned by the police.
Good evening, Shreya. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And this is such a mess. And, the Mumbai police is a very professional organization. For them to behave this way, the way the Assam police behaved in the Ranveer case and the Samay Raina case, or even the Rajasthan police, I think it's not done. Let's look at each aspect individually. First of all, why should Kunal Kamra be arrested? Why? I mean, I'm not understanding. He cracked jokes. I agree, people did not like the jokes. Nobody had seen that YouTube until some people who got offended decided to make it public. So I don't understand what is the criminality in him being arrested. So how is he a criminal who hasn't been arrested so far? That's the first part. Now to the second part of this whole thing. Look, I always say when I'm in government, the first thing that I'm going to do is reduce laws. No law should be more than 3 paragraphs, maximum a page, because when laws are so long, they will be misused by agencies. Now look in this case. The accused, so-called accused, Kunal Kamra is not denying it's his video. The video is put up publicly. There is no denial of any facts. But yet, the police will call people who are there to try and what? Intimidate people. So you're right. What is this intimidation for? So the next time you don't attend shows like this. Now, I'll tell you, this happened to me, a personal incident. At some point in time, many years ago, when the government had just changed, there was one guy who had some issue with some things I had said on TV with regards to opposing the then government in the nation, the current government. Anyways, the person was caught, etc. The police is asking me, but why do you say this against the present government? Is this the police's job to ask me? Somebody is threatening me, you arrest that person. The police is asking me on my complaint, but why are you saying this about the government? Is it the police's job? So there are elements like this who behave in this, say, in neutral, whichever the government is, they will behave like this. Is it their job to do this? This is the problem. Now, what is the consequence of this? Let's come to the consequences. The entire new generation of industry is going to be destroyed. Look, if you want India to grow at 10% to eliminate poverty, or 9% to eliminate poverty, your new wave of jobs are going to come in the service industry and in the Web 3.0 and in entertainment industry. You're destroying it. Police intimidation in Web 3.0 in entertainment industry is going to destroy what India stands for and the economy. I don't know the value of what the Indian entertainment industry overall is. This will include Bollywood, other industries, entertainment, YouTube, etc. I don't know the value of it, but I'm quite sure in our $5 trillion economy, this will be in excess of $1 trillion. When you run a police state, you're going to destroy this economy. Forget the politics of it. You're just going to destroy economy. Okay, you want people to get out of the agricultural sector, landless laborers. What are they going to do? They're going to come to cities, to Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Delhi, Gurugram. They're going to become hairstylists, bartenders, masseuses, stand-up comedians. You're intimidating them. Now this banker's case. This poor banker, Sharif Insan hai, apni girlfriend, Biwi, he's gone on a holiday or perhaps with his gang of boys. Now you've called him. He has a job to do. If that someone reaches his bank, if it's a multinational bank, perhaps they will intimidate him. What does a decent guy do? They'll immediately leave and come back, because when you get a summon from the police, you get scared. How many people even know that you have other remedies? And the way the police calls, the way the police speaks, it's not generally done in a polite manner. I'm again saying Mumbai police is a very professional organization. Do not succumb to this pressure. They don't need to do this. And I'm sure the Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra also doesn't like this. He's a very progressive man. He's my opponent, but he's a very progressive man. Why are we doing this? Why is the police being used? Let's fight these battles politically. Don't let the police in, courts in. When we fight these battles via police and courts, one day this will be turned around and used on you. And then there will be no escape route. So it's not worth doing it. Plus you're destroying the entertainment industry. Plus you're destroying Maharashtra's image. It's not worth it.
Okay. Okay. But Anish Gawande, the fact is, my friend Tehseen here is saying, you know, the Maharashtra's chief minister is very progressive. I'm sure he doesn't like this. I'm sure he doesn't sanction it. But who's the home minister of Maharashtra? Devendra Fadnavis. It is his police that is, you know, issuing summon after summon against a Kunal Kamra as if he is enemy number one of this country. Forget that. They are now issuing summons even to audience members.
You know,
as I said, if it wasn't so sad, it would be funny.
you know, Shreya, quite honestly, history repeats itself. First time as tragedy, second time as farce. I think we're swiftly on the verge of another jail bharo andolan. But where our previous sort of forefathers were fighting for independence and burrowing jails because they were resisting the British, today we're going to be burrowing jails because we go to comedy clubs. Because today you want to jail Kunal Kamra, you want to jail the people who own the habitat, you now want to jail the camera crew or the camera persons as well. Now you'll want to jail the audience members, you'll want to jail politicians defending Kunal Kamra as well. But you won't file FIRs against those who are sort of rapists. You won't do anything to the people who actually ransack these comedy clubs. You won't file even FIRs against those ministers who are accused of murder. So what you're witnessing is a complete mockery of law and order in Maharashtra today. Now let me tell you, the Maharashtra police and the Mumbai police in particular is a very professional fighting force. But the reality is that over the last 3 years, they've become frustrated. They've realized that the "tu janta hai mera baap kaun hai" culture has reached Maharashtra. You know, these police officers aren't doing this because they want to. There are far bigger issues to solve in Mumbai today. You know, we've got an escalating crime rate. You've got an influx of sort of newer forms of crime like cyber crime. You've got a police force that has a large shortfall of personnel that's struggling to cope with the number of cases that exist in the city. You've got police officers hired on contract, and you've got police officers overburdened with the work they already have. But what's happening? They're getting one phone call from one politician or another being like, find a scapegoat, find somebody who can be thrown under the bus. And who do they find? Some poor random banker who they accuse of becoming a video editor and editing these videos. So, you know, we've converted this into a joke today. And the tragedy is that the attack is not only on an individual, but on the rule of law itself. You're sort of seeing this culture of intimidation being introduced in Maharashtra, where the law doesn't matter because, like the senior police officer said here before, it's not legal to do this, it's not right to do this, this is not the right procedure. But once it's done, who's going to explain the right procedure to anybody?
Ali Daruwala, and therefore, as I said, kuch zyada nahi ho gaya. Okay, one politician, your deputy chief minister, took offense to what Kunal Kamra said in his show. But he said many things about many politicians after that and posted that on his own Twitter handle. The others are not saying much. They are just dismissing him as an irritant, right? Why can't Mr. Eknath Shinde not just dismiss him as an irritant? Ye to bolta rahega. He's the deputy chief minister. I'm assuming he has better things to do. And I'm also assuming that the Mumbai police has better things to do than go after a comedian and, more importantly, go after his audience.
Shreya, I have told you time and again, and on this particular topic, I said I myself enjoy what Kunal Kamra's thing I follow. I really enjoy. But sometimes I'll tell you something. I do feel he is sometimes targeting our Honorable Prime Minister, Amit Shah ji, Yogi. I feel, sometimes I feel that
unnecessary. Comedian का काम क्या होता है, Mr. Daruwala?
I agree with you.
But Mr. Daruwala, a comedian's job and a critic's job is not to do bhajans, na? And launch a bhakti movement for the government. It is not their job.
Shreya, you said about bhajans. I will tell you, in full Maharashtra, in all these mandirs, you hear kirtans. And those kirtan cars, Mr. P.K. Jain will understand, and even Anish will understand. In those kirtan cars, when they are playing, when they are singing, they make much more deeper and serious jokes. But that is not taken to that level. It is taken, people laugh it out, and they go back home happy, taking a message out of it. Over here, my take, if you just give me just 10 seconds over here, my take is he calling Eknath Shinde ji Gaddar when he himself is a part as a petitioner. Tehseen can check it out if I'm wrong, because he's a lawyer. He's got good access to the High Court and the Supreme Court. There was a fact-finding petition filed in the Honorable High Court. And Kunal Kamra supposedly is involved in that fact-finding. When he doesn't know the fact, Deputy CM Eknath Shinde ji is a Gaddar, he should have done some fact-finding as to was he there to find out.
Comedy is not about facts, sir. News is about fact.
Government. So this time, see, listen, every time you go Scotland,
if you accuse a news channel of misrepresenting the reality and misrepresenting facts, I accept it. But it's not the job of a comedian to A, represent facts, B, number one. Number two, if you have a problem with the word Gaddar being used for Eknath Shinde, I don't endorse it. I don't think anyone should be called a Gaddar. Anyone should be called names in public life. But if you have a problem with Kunal Kamra, and if you're sending the police after him and his audience, then you should be sending the police after Aditya Thackeray as well. Why have you not done that? Why have you not sent the police after half the Shiva Sena that has decided to stay with Aditya Thackeray and his father Uddhav Thackeray? They all call him Gaddar, right? Openly in press conferences, on television channels and interviews. अगर आपको इतनी दिक्कत है, आप सबके खिलाफ एफआईआर करिए, सबको समन भेजिए.
Shreya, can I reply back to you? Over here, Honorable Chief Minister has said,
sir.
Kunal Kamra, if he just apologizes, this can be done, it can be over. We will not have any TRP on Kunal Kamra. I'm just saying what our Honorable Chief Minister said. And this issue can be finished. He says a simple word, sorry, I did not mean. If it's offended you, I'm sorry. We finish it. Even on shows
now,
over here.
To crack a joke in this country, you need to say sorry.
But not at the expense of...
Tehseen Poonawalla, will you want to come in here? Jokes are told at the expense of people in power, sir. That is comedy. But yes,
I don't understand. There are three things I would like to come in for. I was, Ali Bhai, I took offense to the little fact he said, the police officer and Mr. Gawande will understand what kirtans are. So do I. In fact, I take part in a lot of kirtan. But jokes apart, on a serious note, the writ petition that Kunal had filed in the Honorable Bombay High Court with regards to the fact finding is actually the government of India wanted a fact checker sort of organization that would fact check fake news that the government thought is fake. If Kunal would not have filed that in the Bombay High Court, through Kapil Sibal, we were going to file it in the Honorable Supreme Court. It had nothing to do with fact finding, number one. That's the first part to it. Anyways, it was ultra vires of the Constitution and it was struck down. Look, there are two things here. To the question what about Balasaheb Thackeray's grandson? Even the Honorable Second Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawarji, used the same language for the current Honorable First Deputy Chief Minister. I thought Kunal Kamra's show was pathetic. I really felt that. I didn't find it funny at all. I also found the jokes were crass. But here's the thing. If someone is offended, and Eknath Shinde ji has a right to be offended, the Prime Minister has a right to be offended, the Italian Prime Minister also has a right to be offended because he cracked jokes on her as well. All of them have recourse in law. They can file a defamation case, a civil defamation case on him. Nobody has a right to go to Habitat and break up that comedy club. Who's lost? That club was not owned by Kunal Kamra. Who's lost on the jobs? Poor Indians who are working there. The management of that club. You have no right to do that. Number two, most importantly, jokes will be cracked on comedians. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Or on politicians. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Don't be a politician. You are supposed to take this. Criticism is essential to democracy. And so are jokes essential to democracy. The last important point out here that is I think important. I spoke to Kunal Kamra since this incident, and I don't know why the police should be so so worried about it. I've spoken to him. I've spoken to Ranveer when this happened. I will stand by people's right to free speech as long as that right does not indulge in violence. Kunal Kamra did not indulge in violence. His jokes were pathetic, but it was not violence. Violence was indulged by the other side. If at all, the hounding should happen on those who indulge in violence, not on Kunal Kamra. If you want to take action against Kunal Kamra, the legal method is defamation. Please do that. Though, as a politician, I think she shouldn't. If, honestly, Ali Bhai, you can give my advice to the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, call Kunal Kamra over a cup of coffee, forget this issue. Don't be, Maharashtra's culture is not a violent culture. Let's not bring it down to that, and let's not go after audience members. That's a sign of intimidation. It's not required in Maharashtra, it's not required in India.
It's a sign of intimidation. It's also a sign of trying to finish off the artist. You are intimidating the audience. You have already intimidated the venue that had let that had let its premises to Kunal Kamra. You're also scaring off the sponsors. You're making sure that no one will come and sponsor a show again. I'm out of time, Anish Gawande, but I'll give you 20 seconds. Chal, take 20 seconds since you're the youngest on the show. Go ahead, make your point.
I just want to say, all I want to say is that freedom of speech is not a favor, it's a right. Nobody should have to apologize for what they say unless they break a law, and certainly not to a politician. And that's why I'm glad that Kunal Kamra didn't apologize, and he shouldn't have to.
And I hope the Mumbai police has enough sense to apologize to this poor banker who was merely in the audience, and him having to cancel his 17-day holiday and all the money he must have spent on it to come back to Mumbai just because the Mumbai police wants him as an eyewitness. Now, what that eyewitness will solve and add to the part of the investigations that are currently underway is completely beyond me. But anyway, I hope the Mumbai police has better sense. I hope they apologize. Thank you very much, Anish Gawande, for joining us. Ali Daruwala, thank you very much as well. Always good to have you on the show. Mr. Daruwala, abhi chal raha hai na, Sansad mein dekhiye. Waqf bill, we have to debate that. Thank you very much. Tehseen Poonawalla, thank you very much. Mr. P.K. Jain, thank you very much for joining us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, slipping into a quick break on the show, going right across to the Waqf bill that continues to be debated in Parliament. This is turning out to be a marathon session. It has been extended till midnight, but rest assured, if all things remain same, it will be passed in the Lok Sabha today. Parts of the debate, what the opposition is saying, what the government is saying, is coming up next. Do stay with us.